Is there?
Hello, Abby. Welcome to Why Not Wednesday. I've been looking forward to talking to you this week since you decided to be on. I'm glad I asked you, and I'm glad you were able to be on. You were one of our first coaches to join. It's been almost a year, I think, since you joined up with us, or more than a year, right?
It has, yeah, yeah, it has.
So, welcome. I want to introduce you to everybody. I kind of talked a lot about this week. I introduced you to the Y community as you've been doing this for a long time. You've been in the personal development area. You've been coaching. So you've got a very interesting background. You've lived in a lot of countries. You've worked with hundreds of companies. But what I really wanted to ask you about is something I discovered in the past couple of years, and that's Ikigai, right? The
Hmm.
intersection of what you love, what the world needs, what you do well, and what you can be compensated for. Because when we have those four aligned, right, that's where we're making a big impact in the world. So you found a way to use your why, how, and what. So let's first of all let's talk about your why, how, and what, because a lot of people that are going to be watching our Why Not Wednesday want to know what is the why of the person we're talking to? How do they go about bringing their why to life, and what do they bring? So let's talk about your why of contribute, your how of make sense, and your what of challenge.
Okay, well, let's say I think the contribute, like a lot of people who go into coaching and do this type of thing, there is a strong desire to contribute. And my way of contributing has, and adding in the whole OS, is
Right.
that I make sense of complex things. That's something that I've done all my life and what I bring to the table is a way to challenge the status quo, whether it's as an individual, whether it's as a society, you name it. And so for me, the WHY.os was very validating because a
Mhm.
lot of this I had a sense of anyway. And when I first, it's that aha moment that you get when you go, yeah, that's exactly what I am. And so, and it's helped me a lot in the coaching and my working with executives because um, as a coach, one of the things that's really an important part of it is that you want to go where that person is.
Right.
And so, I mean, it's not about where you are, and
Right.
it's not about putting things into the person. It's about helping them. It's helping them bring it out, bring who they
Right.
are. And so understanding their why is and self-awareness is huge, both for the individual as part of their personal development, but also for me, because as a contribute, I mean, you had me sold at the moment somebody tells me, oh, this is a great way you can help your clients and all of that.
Right.
That's it. But for someone else, that may not be that for a person who their why is makes sense
Hmm.
or something like that makes sense. You need to be able to really show how it makes sense. You
Right.
need to speak to that part of them because you're going into, straight into the limbic system
Right.
and getting them to understand. So it's incredibly helpful with that because you're speaking, as you've often used the expression, why to why
Right.
with people. So if I can have that kind, I'll have far more impact if I can speak to them in their why language. And the way it works with Ikigai for me and with other things, with helping people find what their purpose is and what their how to live their why, is that, I mean, first of all, you need to understand what it is before
Right.
you can live it. But having that foundational awareness is is just amazing. I mean, all of us have only our own perspective, right?
Correct.
So as someone said, it's funny that everybody who has contributed thinks everybody else wants to contribute. Well,
Well,
that's
I
easy
think
to
that's,
do.
what
Yeah,
don't you find, Kathy, that that's the case with every why though? Because
you
one
bet.
of the things that Jerry Lujan talks about is when people find out their why. I know I did it when Gary helped me discover my why of contribute. The first thing I said, he said, Dan, you love to help people. You love to make a difference. And I said, yeah, doesn't everybody? Right.
Yeah,
And Jerry was the same way. When he found out his why was to find a better way and share it with others, first thing out of his mouth was like, yeah, doesn't everybody want to find a better way and share it with others? And it's not the case, right? So you're finding that out with the clients you work with. You help them get that
absolutely.
deep. Hey, Kathy, can I get you to tilt your camera up just a little bit?
Oh,
We're cutting off your
certainly.
head just a little bit.
Yep, I had a little technical things here going on, so
There you go. Now we can see all of your hair. So
thank you.
when you work with clients, how does that make a difference in terms of when you know their why? How do you approach them? So let's talk about a recent client you worked with. You sent them their why discovery, and did that change your interaction with them?
I Yes, because it made me, again, as I said, go to where they were. I mean,
Right.
I wanted to, I would be, as I said, we all see things through our own lens. And so I would be jumping up and down about, this is great, we can do this. But I realized that this person, that was not what was going to motivate them. That was not what was going
Hmm.
to get them out of bed in the morning. Ikigai, the experience that we were
Hmm.
talking about, is literally means what gets you out of bed in the morning. It's the purpose that gets
Yeah.
you. It's your why that gets you out of bed in the morning. And so working with people, I can. It's not that I change who I am, but I can frame it in a way that is much more meaningful for them. And that's the goal in coaching is getting, speaking their language. Too
Yeah.
many, we're all talking past each other most of the time.
Well, I love
And
that you brought that up because one of the things we always talk about is the platinum rule, right? The golden rule says treat others as they want to be treated. It sounds like you're implementing the platinum rule and you're talking to people in the language they want to hear, right? And so if they're a better way person, you're going to talk to them about how what you do or what you're going to do together is better than what they're currently doing. If you're talking to a challenge person, we're going to talk about how what we do together is going to challenge the status quo. And it's not about being inauthentic. It's about pointing out the parts of what your program offers at Métier Associates. What does your program do for your client that matches what they're looking for? And if there's a match, then we're going to get along, right? If there's not a match, then it's probably a good time to know in that early conversation that I'm not
absolutely.
looking to I'm not looking for someone to help me contribute, make sense of things, and challenge the status quo. What do you feel about
Absolutely.
that?
Oh, I think you're spot on with that. And this comes back to the whole concept of branding. What
Hmm.
people forget, and I love working with resume writers and other coaches that on my team about this because branding is a huge part of helping people when if they're in their careers and things like that. But what people forget is that brands are meant to attract, but they're also meant to repel.
Right.
The brand that works for one person is not going to work for somebody else.
Right.
And that's a good thing. You don't want to be all things to all people because you'll end up not being yourself.
Well, I love you said that. You don't want to be all things to all people because you'll end up not being anything to anyone, right? Because
Absolutely.
your message is so watered down. And so understanding, and when we work with companies to help them discover their why for their company, we want to make sure they're attracting the ideal client. And a lot of times we do it based on the why of the CEO or the
Hmm.
visionary. Every company
Hmm.
has a visionary. So what is their why? So let's talk some more about Ikigai. I'm gonna have Bella put a banner across the bottom of the screen, uh, because it's such a great definition, the intersection of what you love, what the world needs, what you do well, and what you can be compensated for. So what does that mean? How does WHY.os fit into that?
Okay. The Ikigai is as I said, it's a combination of it, all of those things that we're talking about here. And when you have convergence of the things that you love, the things that the world needs, what you do well, and what you can get compensated for, whether it's
Yeah.
monetary or other types of compensation, that's the heart. That's the Ikigai. And that to me is the same as when you get your OS,
Mm-hmm.
because you now have an operating system that helps you understand it. And the interesting thing, and this I think you can draw a lot of parallels with the WHY.os, is like, for example, what you love and what you're good at is your profession.
Mm-hmm.
Can be what the intersection of those two. But what you love and what the world, or what you love and what you're good at, can be your passion. What you love and what the world needs is your mission.
Mm-hmm.
So you think about it, and as you put all of these things together, they're the
Right.
intersection. It's the same with looking at the Venn diagrams of the WHY.os.
Right. Where you
And
have your why, your how, and your what, and that where they intersect. Correct. I
exactly.
love that. So tell me about what's the most useful thing you've done with the WHY.os with your clients? How do you use it?
Well, a number of ways. I think I have I'll do a lot of work with senior executives,
Hmm.
and most of them say, "I can um, I can brand anything, I can market anything, I can sell anything except for myself."
Hmm.
They're perfectly comfortable understanding how to brand something, but when it comes to themselves, they don't have the understanding of what that is. And by
Hmm.
using the why, it gives them a tremendous way of looking at it. And you can just see their face light up. It's like, wow, yeah, of course.
Right.
And the exciting part of that for me, as I said, I've run a number of teams of coaches and writers
Hmm.
and things, is passing it on to them, because it it's not that it's going to replace anything. It's going to add to it. I mean, the other types, it will serve as the foundation that this tells you who you are, not just what you can do.
Hmm.
So many assessments are about what can you do. Well,
Right.
no, it comes from the inside. It's an inside job.
Yeah. I love
Goes
that.
all
Start from
the
within, right? And even in our diagram, when we talk about why, how, and what, we start with why in the middle, and then your how, and then your what. So you start with why versus the other way around, which we've heard this for a long time. If you start with why, you're going to connect with people at that limbic level, right? So
absolutely.
how does it, how do you feel, especially since you've known your WHY.os for a while, how does your knowing your why operating system help you determine your purpose? Because I'm sure you do some of that work with your clients.
Sure. And it helps me, again, that attract or repel, because there are certain clients, if I'm working with them uh, individually, there are people with whom it will resonate, and then there are the
Right.
people it won't. And it
Right.
makes, and I can refer them to somebody who will be perfect for them.
Right.
But it's, I want to work with people who want to make a difference, who want to challenge the status quo, who want, to contribute, who want, they don't have to all be in that particular order.
Right.
But those are the people that I know I can have some of the greatest impact with.
Hmm.
And the way it determines my purpose is that the understanding that I contribute by making sense of things. I've always been somebody who had to make sense of things.
Hmm.
And then, I'm a challenger through and through. I mean, I've heard you talk about why not.
Right.
That's my favorite question too. It's like,
Yes.
as a challenger, why not?
Right.
Let's do
Well,
it.
That's a great lead in. Let's ask this question because we have to have this question asked in a Why Not Wednesday. What's your biggest why not moment, Kathy? I know you I hopefully gave you some time to think about that, but what has been your biggest why not moment in your life? Or, we can even break it down in your life and then maybe in your business and then in your personal life. So give us your biggest.
Wow. I think the biggest one for me was, why not go out on my own right now at this point in my life?
Mm-hmm.
Because I need to be who I am, and I need to follow my why and follow my purpose. And so why not? I
Right.
mean, why not do it now? I mean, if I sat there, and I can sure there were people who would say, well, at this point in your life, you're going to do this. Why
Right.
not? There are times that you got to take the leap. And that was a big why not for me.
Absolutely, right? And a lot of people would say, well, why would you make such a change this late in your career? You've got a lot of things going on. And you said, you know what? Why not? So I love that you brought that up because I love asking that why not question. So tell me about you mentioned something in our conversations. You believe that there are physical and psychological benefits of knowing your why, discovering and living
Mhm.
your YOS. Tell me a little bit about that because you're so experienced in this.
Well, knowing your why, which I think that the why is the closest to think it's sort of like the sense of purpose, what your purpose
Right.
is in life, right? Having a sense of purpose is linked to longevity across all all age groups, all
Right.
genders, you name it, it's linked to that. Secondly, people who have that sense of purpose are far less likely to have strokes statistically, and far less likely to have heart attacks. And they also have a tendency to recover faster, because understanding this and having a reason to recover
Right.
gives you resilience. That's what this is about. And then if you look at it, I mean, it comes all the way back to when the people who had been in prisoner of war camps, the
Mhm.
ones that survived because they had a sense of the purpose of their life and meaning in their life. It could be something as simple as, I want to get back to my family and be with my family, but they knew that there was something to look forward to. And that's proven so over and over. This, on the psychological side, again, it's what's going to get you up in the morning. I
Mhm.
mean, and the cognitive benefits are huge. It reduces the risk of Alzheimer's. It reduces a lot of things that people thought were irreversible. So
Yeah,
I'm a big proponent of knowing this.
I love that. So, Kathy, what let me ask you one last question because there's something you brought up earlier. You mentioned meeting people where they are. And Melanie Ake, one of our other coaches, talks about that. One of the things that learning your YOS and the YOS of your client really helps you is really meet them where they are.
Yes,
What does that mean to you?
that means that it's not my agenda, it's
Mhm.
their agenda, right? And understanding again that, um, this may sound a bit um, oppositional to the idea of the people who I want to work with versus I
Mhm.
don't want to work with. But for me, even the people people that I'm working with, where we share a lot of the same values. I have to go, if they're not ready to move to another level, I need to go where they are. I
Mhm.
can't take that, it's not my job to, it's like the difference between giving somebody the the difference between trying to indoctrinate them with something,
Right.
or being a consultant and saying, okay, you go out and do this, this, and this, and
Right.
being a coach who believes that each one of us, has this within ourselves. And our job is to help ask the right questions so they get their own answers. It's not my answers that matter, it's yours.
That's awesome, Kathy. And I love that because that kind of blends, it's meet them where they are. It's following the platinum rule. It's kind of bringing all of that together. But it's so fun, as you know, the more I do what I do and talk to new coaches every day and get them to see the value in what we do and then join our movement. We've had so many new coaches here in the past few weeks. And what I love, and you shared this with me early on, is that those aha moments that their clients have. I had one this morning that sent me a video of a couple that discovered their WHY.os together. And what she said was, I love that going through this process gave me words to say what I've always known. Because a lot of times we know who we are, but what the WHY.os does, the why discovery does, is it gives you words to put. So now you can present yourself. And I know we just launched the WHY.os recently, and you went through self-discovery, went ahead and redid it, and just confirm for yourself that your why is to contribute to the success of others. And how you do that is helping people make sense of the complex and challenging. And ultimately what you bring are creative, out-of-the-box, innovative solutions. So that's what you can be counted on for. How was that process for you as you went through the verification of your WHY.os?
Well, I loved it because it was again, coming back to working with resume writers, it's like
Right.
people struggle to try and come up with a branding statement or something that's short. And the fact that putting these three pieces together can give you what you just did, which was a great branding statement for me of what I do so quickly
Yeah.
that it's wonderful. It's an amazing tool. That's why I'm going out there and banging the drum to get more coaches and writers and to embrace this, as well as working with my own clients on it.
Yeah. I love that. So Kathy, tell me this. What is if you had the opportunity, because I talk to new coaches every day, if someone's on the fence and they're thinking, I don't know if I want to get that, you've been using it now for over a year, what would you say to someone that's thinking, you know what, I'm not quite sure about that tool? What would you say to them to get them off the fence?
Well, I guess I would just tell them what a game changer it's been with me
Hmm.
in terms of, after over 20 years of coaching people and working with them, it it made it so much simpler and faster and easier to get right to the heart of the matter and get get results with people, and not get results. I'll put it this way: help them get the results they want.
Right. I
So,
love that. Thank you so much, Kathy. Is there a question I haven't asked you that you want me to ask? Because let's make sure we ask that question before we sign off.
oh my gosh, I can't think of a question that I want you to ask at this point. I am just so grateful to you, and it's a great day for this. Being close to Thanksgiving and everything else, it's a good time to start expressing our gratitude. And I want to give you and Gary and all the people at the Y Institute a big shout out and the coaches, the amazing people, Melanie, all the new people. That this is a great movement, and I'm really grateful for it.
Well, we're so glad to have you as part of the Y Society, Kathy Simmons. We didn't even have a Y Society when you came on. We are the Y Society. We're getting stronger every day, and lots of coaches are joining us. And I know that a lot of people are going to find value in your comments today. So thank you very much for being on. And we'll see you all next week for Why Not Wednesday. We're going to have former Command Master Chief of the Navy, Raymond Kemp, on our Why Not Wednesday next week. So tune in and hear from him. He's a guy who likes to find a better way by challenging the status quo and contributing to the success of others. Another fun WHY.os that we're going to get to talk about next week. Thank you, Kathy, and everyone have a
Thank you.
great hump day.
Take care.